Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, my name is Rod Brown, and you are listening to the Lead or Lose Call, sponsored by ShareNote.com, which is an electronic health record system that is designed specifically for the behavioral healthcare industry. I want to thank you for joining the call today, and I want to spend some time talking to solopreneurs. My hat goes off to you, Mr. and Mrs. Solopreneur, because you actually wear a bunch of hats. You are the head of sales, head of marketing, head of finance, head of accounting, head of bookkeeping, the CEO, the CFO, the CTO, the CIO. So my hat goes off to the solopreneur. And when I talk to solopreneurs, many of them are very happy. They're very content on being just that. But then many people want to transition from that of being a solopreneur to being the solo / entrepreneur / business owner that has employees, that builds an enterprise. So I want to talk to you about some things that you need to be aware of relative to leading yourself from that solopreneur position to a business where you have employees and you begin to grow an enterprise. So we know that leadership is present when three things are present: when there's a vision, when there are followers, and when there's influence over those followers. So I want to tackle these three things from the solopreneur's perspective, because the solopreneur, really quickly, is the person that gets up. They make their own schedule. They're workers. They work really hard. You guys go at it in the paint. You work hard because you have to do everything. And a lot of times, because you're working so hard, you are in the midst of your day-to-day, for the lack of a better word, minutia. And you can't sometimes see beyond that because you're consumed with working every aspect of your business. And again, many people are okay with that. And if you're okay, I'm okay. If you like it, I love it. But if you want to transition from being that solopreneur to, having revenue come in the door, if you don't go to work, because most solopreneurs, if you don't have some type of recurring revenue model in your business, if you don't work, you don't make money. So again, for the ones who want to transition, we want to focus on three things today. We want to focus on creating followers for you. We want to focus on having a vision and influence. And actually, I've done an entire call on vision. So go check out the YouTube channel if you want to listen to that. So I probably won't spend as much time on vision as I will on followers and influence. So let's start with vision. Your vision is the vision for your organization. So you have to have a vision for your organization. And that vision, it needs to be plain, it needs to be simple. And the vision is basically where you're going. Where you're going, not necessarily how you're going to get there yet, but what do I see this organization 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 20 years down the road? Or better yet, how do I see myself exiting this particular business? Now, again, solopreneurs sometimes say, you know what, I'm happy being a stylist, and I don't ever want to own a salon. Or I'm happy being a plumber, and I never want to own a plumbing company. And again, that's okay. But if you do want to have that business where you do have employees and that you building an enterprise, then what's the end? I would start with the end when formulating my vision. What is the end? Where do I want to see this thing when I'm done? And done means different things to different people. Done may mean I retire, I close the doors, and I go spend time on sandy beaches. Done may be I exit, which means I sell this company and then I start another company sometime shortly after that. So done means something different, but to help formulate my vision, to help create the vision for where I want to be, I want to start with the end and then kind of back into it. The next thing you have to do is you have to build a team. So we know if you don't have followers, then you're not a leader. And again, as a solopreneur, you've been very comfortable with being the leader and the follower, leading yourself and following yourself. However, if you want to transition to that business model where you have employees, where you have, again, revenue coming in the door, even if you don't hit a lick that particular day or that particular week or that particular month, then you're going to need a team. You're going to need followers. You're going to have to bring in folks to help carry out that vision. That's why the vision is important to identify on the front end. You're going to need folks to help you carry out that vision. So how do I build a team? There are three things that you need to consider when you're building your team. You need to consider the chemistry that you have with the individuals that you're bringing onto your team. You don't want to spend a whole bunch of time with somebody for whatever reason. You don't gel, you don't mix, so you don't have a great deal of chemistry. So chemistry is important, especially when you get beyond two people in your team and you start to bring more and more people onto your team. Chemistry is extremely important because you want to be able to gel together. You want to be able to work really well together. So you want people that kind of fit with each other. So chemistry is one. Another one is competence. You want to have people on your team that's competent. And oftentimes, solopreneurs that are making that transition, you hire family members. And family members are great to have on staff because, you trust those family members. And that's normally one of the main reasons that people bring on family members. Just bring on competent family members. If you hire someone to help you out in marketing and it's a family member, that's great, but make sure they have a marketing background or they've demonstrated where they've been successful in that space, in that arena of marketing. It's really that simple. So competence, you want competent people on your team because your team or your company will only grow as high or as great as the strength of your team. So competence is surely important. So we said chemistry, we said competence, and then the last C is the character. Your gifts, your talents, the gifts and the talents of your team will get you places that the character of the individuals or the character of the team won't keep you. You can do things over, 5, 10 years, and you can build a reputation, and it takes you 10 years to get that reputation. It takes you 10 years to be the number one game in town, to be the number one game in your state, or to be the number one game in your country. And it takes 10 seconds to destroy that. So character is, again, at the utmost importance whenever you are building your team. So I want to have people that I gel with. We have great chemistry. I want to have people that are competent, and I want to have people with strong character on my team. Okay? So, again, we're still talking about building a team. Some other things you want to consider is what kind of influence do the people on your team have? Because sometimes when the next key component to leadership is having influence over your followers, but sometimes if you don't necessarily have a great deal of influence, you can tap into the influence of those that are on your team, the team members. So I may not have to have everyone buy in to my vision or everyone buy in to the task at hand, but if I have one or two team members that I have influence over, that has influence over the entire team, then I just need to get buy-in from the ones that have influence. So what type of influence do your teammates have? Do they have complementary gifts? I want people that have the same goals that I have, but they think differently. I don't want a team full of robots. And I want people that have gifts and talents and strengths that are different from mine. So if you have everyone with the same gift and talent, that means you're going to be weak in other areas. So you want folks that are on that team with complementary gifts. Okay? So now let's talk about influence for a little while. Influence is very important to overall leadership for you as a solopreneur. So you built your team. Now, you have to influence your team. You have to lead your team. And all leadership is influence. When you boil it down, all it is influence. So you're going to have to be able to help these folks help you meet the vision. The most important thing is trust. That's the most important thing, is trust. And being able to create or have a roadmap to your vision so that these folks that you've created this awesome team with, they can help you get to the vision. So you're not going to say, here's my vision. This is what it is. Okay, does everybody know what the vision is? On your mark, get set, go. No, you're going to have a roadmap to that vision. Having that roadmap to that vision is going to help breed some trust. Trust is your greatest commodity as a leader. Trust is your greatest commodity. And an example I like to give is in another lifetime, I was a financial advisor, and I talked a great deal about risk and, making money and also potentially losing money. And think of trust as your brokerage account, as your stock account. And as you lose money or as you lose trust, it's so much harder to get it back. So if I have $1 invested in the stock market and I lose 50%, I'm down to 50 cents. So I lost 50%, I'm down to 50 cents. Well, in order for me to get back to break even, I'm going to have to grow 100%. So I'm going to have to, and my basis is now 50%. To get back to $1, I need another 50 cents. So that's 100% growth, even though I only lost 50%. So just get back to break even, I'm going to have to do 100%. That's just break even. That's not even earning anything. So think of the trust that you have from your team. Think of that as that stock account. And every time you violate that trust, it's going to be that much harder to gain that trust back. And so you don't want to violate the trust. You don't want to do anything that's going to cause you to lose trust, to lose faith from the team that you built. And there's a lot of things that we could talk about relative to trust, and we just don't have time. But I'll leave you with this one thing, and that one thing is simply do what you say you're going to do, and be what you want from others. Do what you say you're going to do. So if you say, we're going to have a meeting every Friday at 10 o'clock a.m., have the meeting every single Friday at 10 o'clock a.m. And that may sound like something small, but each time you say you're going to do something and you don't follow through on that, you're chipping away at that trust. And those are small things. The big things are the things that will debilitate you. So just do what you say you're going to do. And then the next thing is to be what you want your employees to be, or to be what you want your team that you've built to be. So again, if you're going to transition from being a solopreneur to that entrepreneur with that business, with employees, you're going to have three things. You're going to have a vision, first and foremost. You're going to have followers, secondly. And then third, you're going to have influence over those followers. If you have those three things, you'll have leadership, and you'll transition from a solopreneur to a budding business. That's just the beginning, but that's a great foundation. That's a great place to begin. So thank you so much for listening. Time flies when you're having fun. Solopreneurs, keep doing your thing. We need you out there. Again, thanks for joining the call. Thanks for listening. You can ask questions at our Twitter handle, which is at Roderick L. Brown, or you can visit the YouTube channel. Just do a search on Rod Brown, Lead or Lose. Thanks again for joining. Have a great day. I send you blessings.